Hey, this is Karen Smith from Hedgesville, West Virginia, and today I'm going to be working on a 8 by 20 inch stretched canvas. I don't put any additional gesso on the canvas, they're pre-prepped. Just wanted to show you my push pins that I use in my corners, and just a reminder, make sure they're all the same depth. Don't have some that are all the way in and some that are almost all the way in or partially in, or your pour will shift. I use Creative Inspirations acrylic paint for all my pours. I like other brands too, it's just one that I kind of been using for a while. And I'm going to be using the Azatan purple and Viridian green, and I believe I'm also using the metallic copper. I was looking for the original container. There it is. I tend to, once I use up my containers, recycle them, reuse them, and I also do buy those condiment containers to put my stuff in. This is my white latex house paint. So all my colors are already pre-mixed with my medium, which I like to use Floetrol. I use it a lot, but I thought I'd switch it up about a month ago and bought the Elmer's glue wall, and I've been using the let's see, it's a lot of people use the 70% glue wall with the 30% water, and that's where I started. And I thought the medium was just thickening up on its own, so I went with adding more water. So I'm probably more about a 65-35, maybe even a 60-40 with the water to glue all ratio. And then I take the medium with the paint and do a 50-50 ratio. And I've been tweaking that too, because the paints I use are a little on the thick side, so I'm probably using more of a 45-55. 45 paint, 55% medium. And then I've been adding just a touch of water to adjust the consistency a little bit. And this painting, I'm not using any silicone. I wanted to try a silicone-free painting just to see how my cells would turn out, because I've been watching other videos and how well and successful their cells are, so I'm going to do it without. And just spreading out my white paint. I used to use a spatula or stuff to spread it out, and I was like, you know what, I'm just going to pour it on, you know, kind of cover the canvas like I did, and then just tilt it, and it gets a nice flat layer that way. I just thought it ended up being actually a lot quicker, and yeah, there's a little bit of waste there, but so what. And evidently I found a glob. You can't have globs in all paintings now, can we? I'm not going to be using my heat gun on my base coat. I had mentioned that in a previous video. A tip I got watching another artist, and they mentioned about it starts to preset your base coat. In other words, the top, the most outer layer, starts to harden ever so slightly, and that can affect your tilting and just, you know, the movement of the paint that you're going to put on it. And I was like, you know what, you know, eventually I'm going to apply heat to this, and whatever bubbles are there, they're there, and they will come out when I apply that heat, and the tilting helps pop some of them too. So I just been going that route, and I've been pretty happy with that. So I'm just touching up my little corners and sides where there was a couple little gaps. And like I said, your sides don't have to be perfect with your base coat, because if you're going to tilt, it's going to end up there. Okay, so yeah, the title of this has said Diffuser acrylic pour. You're probably going, diffuser, what's that? Hair dryer diffuser. Yeah. Hadn't used it yet. Never even thought about using it. I was in the bathroom, you know, doing my hair and my makeup and stuff, and I haven't used one of these things in ages. It was just there from the blow dryer I bought, and I'm like, oh wow, this would be great for a pour. So what the heck. And what's great is it already has, you know, the top's cut out. It pours through the bottom. The only thing is those spikes, or whatever you want to call them, the long teeth on the bottom, they're not even, because that's how they're designed to be worked in your hair, uneven. But I was like, you know what, it's a pour, I'm going to tilt it. I don't want perfect shapes to work with, because I'm going to move them around anyhow. So I was fine with that. I mean, if it bothered me, I could always trim the longer one, but you know, what the heck. I'm also using a different camera angle. I tend to always shoot from above and straight on, and I like seeing some of the artists that do different angles, either switch it up or ones that have done different angles, and I'm like, I'm going to go from the side. And I was only concerned about doing this because I didn't want, when I'm working farther away, for you not to really be able to see much. But I was real pleased with how it turned out. It actually, I think, brings you closer. Like you're closer and can see a lot more detail from these low side angles. So I really like doing it this way. So I know you can't see me pouring from the top at the back there, but you will as I shift the diffuser down. And so, because I was a little worried about that when I saw the footage, I'm like, they can see it come from the bottom. And then as I move this thing down, you'll see me pouring from the top. I'm using one of my darker colors first. Like the first diffuser pour I just did had the purple first. So since I'm on a white background base coat, I want to start with one of my darker colors, which would be the purple or the green. So the first one I did the purple. As you can see, the most outer edge behind it is, behind that pour is the purple. So this one I figure I'll do this one with the green to start. And then I try to use the copper, and then white, and then a dark color, and then white, a dark color, copper, white. The idea is I don't want my two darks, they'll touch, they'll definitely be next to each other, but I want to at least give them a chance to have a white barrier between them or a lighter color between them, so you got more contrast, having the light to dark, light to dark. And also the I like how the white gives you variations of the darker colors. It gives you different shades and values of them. So and then this one, yeah, so there's my copper, as you can see. I really like these metallics, the Creative Inspirations metallics I love a lot, because there's a beautiful sheen to them, yet they're incredibly smooth, and I mean, I never really have any complications with their metallics. I used to think, oh, I guess I gotta mix them thicker so I don't lose the metallic sheen. I was afraid I was diluting it with too much pouring medium, but as I've worked with more metallic paint, I'm figuring out I actually can make it the same exact consistency or thickness as the other paints. So yeah, these like I said, these shapes are not shapes that I want to retain, because I am going to tilt, but I thought it'd be fun to kind of like when people use those sink strainers and colanders and all kinds of stuff. I was like, what the heck, just give it a whirl, because I wasn't looking for these absolute shapes. And as you can tell when you watch my videos, I don't set like a pretty clean setup to start on. This is my art table that I use all the time, and I have it covered with aluminum foil, and then I take clear plastic wrap, you know, by the roll, and stretch it over and lay it over top of the foil. And then this is a combination I've been using for a long time. It keeps my table clean, it's easy to clean, it's easy to wipe off. You can get great skins off of the foil or the plastic. And I recycle, occasionally I'll recycle the plastic. So I wanted to get a little more copper in there. It got a little lost in a couple of those. I noticed that the copper got lost with the white. So I was like, I gotta add a little more copper to this thing. And I was messing with it because it was tilting on its own. So I usually tilt slow because I'm afraid I'm going to have this really bad cells. I'm like, you know what? I got a lot of paint on here. I'm just going to do it and just do it. And I usually more conservative with my paint because I didn't want to waste, even though I do use as much as I can from the drippings for dips and some other things. But I have to admit, it was nice having a lot of paint on there to really work with and not worry about, oh my god, my cells this, my cells that. or I got to just stretch it enough to reach places. This was cool. I felt more freedom with the composition was there by having more paint than I usually use. So I know it looks like a lot of excessive paint, but and other artists have said this too. You need the paint. You're gonna spill it. You're gonna tilt it off, but you need it to create your composition and to really find those hidden treasures of those cool surprises and shapes that is part of the addiction of acrylic pouring. Really, is letting the chemistry work its magic, and all your hard work of mixing all that paint and seeing the rewards. So I had a lot of fun using more paint than I usually do, and I'm going to definitely start being more generous with my paint. And you can see how the cells, I mean, I didn't even apply heat yet. This is just the glue water with the paint. So I'm becoming a huge fan of the glue wall. I still like my Floetrol, but I definitely am liking the glue wall better. But I'll probably go back and forth. Sometimes I'll use Floetrol, and sometimes I'll use glue wall. And sometimes both. I know, sometimes using both of them can be fun too. So, I prefer heat guns to torches only for the fact that I don't got to purchase another product to keep using it, which would be the butane, and then also not have all those containers, and throwing them away, and ecology friendly and think of the environment. I just love using the convenience of the heat gun. You just plug it in and you don't have to buy any replacement or additives to it. I love those cells that you get on the sides of the paintings. Something about them, they look like Swiss cheese, or they're just, I don't know, something about the cells on the side of the paintings always seem like extra cool. It's like, I want those on top of my painting. So this is probably the most successful cells I've had in all the paintings I've been doing, as far as they just created through the chemistry of the paint mixture before I applied any heat. The heat only brought out maybe a little bit more, but I think what the heat did was help bring some of the brightness of the color up in places where the white was kind of muting some of it out just a little bit, and so the heat brought some more color up and through, and probably did bring out some more cells too, but they were probably small and more like the air bubbles. But yeah, so I was real happy with this. Sorry that I keep bumping the camera. I think I'm taking it off the stand at this point to do the close-ups. Yes, I am. So, I was so happy with the variety of the cells. Big ones, little ones, micro ones, quark-sized ones, which is like teeny tiny. Nice variety. And the copper, that's what I was telling you about, the metallic, that's metallic copper. I use metallic gold, metallic bronze, and metallic copper. I've never been a big fan of the silver because I think it sometimes appears to be gray unless you go up closely and look at it. So that's why I don't use the metallic silver, just for that reason. I don't want to have any dull looking colors. I mean, sometimes the colors get muddy on their own, and that's annoying. Really, was real happy with this. And just FYI, after I finished the video and let the painting set for a little bit and did some dips with the drippings, did some smaller, what did I use? Little 6x9 canvases. I went back to this larger painting and did a couple balloon dips, just added a couple little flowers to it. It wasn't a lot, it was just a few, and I was really happy with that. So I'll have to post a picture of that on that'll be on Facebook, that picture, but it didn't really dramatically change the overall painting. It just I added about 4 or 5 medium to small flowers, even if that, maybe it was just 4. But yes, I was so happy with this. Well, thank you so much for watching, and my website's kcsfineart.com. And have a great day, great night.